Do you want to be the guy that somehow magically knows women's secret perverted fantasies? Well, this video is going to reveal 3 different scenarios that women dream about having done to them. The kind of scenarios that she fantasizes about while touching herself at night. A lot of men are too afraid to be dominant with women in the bedroom, but that's exactly what women are craving more and more these days. Now, more than ever, they want a man who is going to manhandle her when it reaches the bedroom. Take her out of her boring everyday life and put her into this euphoric, submissive space. Obviously, it should go without saying that you're only going to be doing these scenarios with a woman who is totally into you, wants to have sex with you, and is obviously okay with it. Dear God, do not do any of these. Do not attempt any of these if you do not know how to read a woman's body language. Scenario number 1, you have her up against a wall with her arms above her head, pinned together basically like that with one of your hands. And then you have one of your knees between her legs, basically spreading her legs apart. And then you are passionately kissing her and with the other hand, perhaps fingering her or playing with her clitoris. This is a really passionate and dominant move that you can use with your woman before you take things the next step into the bedroom and into penetration. There's a lot of different sensations going on for her in that moment at the same time, which allows her to get into a submissive, euphoric headspace and simultaneously feel like she's with a man who is in control and who is strong and who is dominant. And you're also obviously giving her different physical sensations, like maybe the feeling of your knee or leg rubbing up against her nether regions, or maybe it's your hand rubbing up against those nether regions as well, combined with the passionate kissing that you're doing to her. Scenario number 2 is when you have her blindfolded and tied up. Now, you could do this in many different locations and contexts, but the general fantasy is that of her being tied up and blindfolded. So you think about this for a second. She is basically giving up all of the control to you in that scenario. And with the blindfold too, that adds an element of mystery, unpredictability, surprise, and it also enhances her other senses. So when you take away the sense of sight, you're enhancing the other senses like sound, smell, and obviously touch. So anything that you do to her in that moment is going to be amplified. If you don't really know your way around ropes per se, you can use things like fluffy handcuffs, you can use things like a belt to simulate the feeling of being tied up, shall we say, on a more beginner level. Simply tying her arms together either in front of her or behind her back can help baby step you both into this kind of a fantasy. By the way, guys, don't forget to like this video and hit the subscribe button. If you like these kinds of videos, I have tons of free videos on this channel which teach you how to improve your sex life and be the best sex your lover has ever had. Because YouTube will take this channel down if I go into too much graphic detail on a lot of these topics, there's only so much that I can give away for free, unfortunately. So if you'd like to learn some more practical tips and techniques in the bedroom, then check out some of the links in the description of this video down below. Fantasy scenario number 3 is this. Her being bent over a balcony, her breasts exposed and maybe her top pulled down so they are exposed, her hands pinned behind her back and you're holding onto them with one hand, and then with your other hand you're pulling her hair from behind her and you're penetrating her from behind. So all of these things combined together create this dark fantasy for her. Think about the layered sensations you are kind of providing for her. Not just physically, but also emotional and situationally. So we've got, obviously, the penetration. We've got the feeling of losing control with her hands being tied behind her back or held behind her back. We've got the submissive sensation of her having her hair pulled, which causes a kind of relaxed, submissive feeling, euphoric feeling for her. We've also got the fact that her breasts are out and we're doing this over a balcony. So there's this element of exhibitionism. There's this element of we might get caught, and that amplifies everything. It makes it more naughty. It makes it kinky. It makes it more exciting for her. Now, obviously, don't do this if you're going to get caught. Don't get sent to jail. Don't get a fine. Don't get, into any legal trouble. Do this intelligently. Do it in a scenario where you can basically get away with it. I don't want any of you guys getting into any trouble trying to improve your sex life like this. Now, obviously, to indulge in these kinds of fantasies with your woman, you're going to want to make sure she is ramped up and super horny.